TP in the place to be, man. Y'all go ahead and hit the like button, man. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, man. Y'all went ahead and saw the title of the video. This is Jay Prince on Joe Rogan's podcast. He was on there about a year ago. 2020, actually. So about 2 years ago. Yeah. So about 2 years ago. And he was talking about pretty much being targeted by the feds. So let's go ahead and get on that. Or talking about being targeted by the police. I know he wrote in his book that he was being investigated by the feds, but you know, we finna go ahead and let him explain it.
Even back then, I saw where change was trying to take place in the industry, and they wasn't going to allow. I call it a conspiracy. I saw the conspiracy taking place where they wasn't going to allow any more Master P's, Cash Money, Irv Gotti.
Independent.
Yeah, independence. They were like shutting that door.
Yeah.
So, you know, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I see the move they making.
Well, my first thing, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of like explain maybe why. Some of these folks were selling drugs to make that money to get into the game, and they were trying to wash their money in the game, buy jewelry, cars, you know, stuff like that. Of course, when the feds pick up on that type of lifestyle and that way of getting into the rap game, they're gonna look at that like, wow, we didn't even know folks would do that. Now we finna definitely dig our nose into that. So you can't necessarily look at them too wrong. That's kind of their job to cat and mouse with y'all, you know, if you choosing to get into the game that way, you know. So I'm just saying.
Let me counter this and create another avenue for the youth to come in after us. And unfortunately, I think they witnessed the same thing, and they hit Murder Inc., which is Irv Gotti company, destroyed it. They hit Suge Knight, Death Row. We know what happened with that. And they came at me in a massive way, you know, all the way up to the point where they put a man on me that killed 8 people. And I really believe, you know, he was trying to kill me.
And when you say they put a man on you, like, in what way?
They assigned a guy by the name of Schumacher, you know, on me to arrest me, to whatever he was supposed to do, but he sent death threats at me. And here's a man that killed 8 people. You know, I hired an investigator. Since they was investigating me, I decided to hire an investigator.
Yeah, it is crazy though, because like, truth be told, I don't watch some documentaries about like the FBI doing certain stuff back in the day, you know, Vietnam War stuff with Africa, all types of stuff. And he not lying, like them CIA, FBI, or FBI agents, boy, they'll be able to put something in your toothpaste that will murk you. No cap. And they doing it with a badge on, so they really getting away with it. And that's just crazy. Like, and then, I mean, the people in the video in these documentaries who would say it, they over there saying it with smiles on their face. Yeah, we didn't kill him this time. I mean, it looked crazy. So it's just, you know, knowing that in the background of the situation, you know, knowing that in the background, knowing that if he did really find out that somebody was like looking after him and that they did have some bodies, you know, you might have to do some crazy stuff to try to protect yourself. You know, it might kind of explain the lore of, you know, him trying to have to tap into the streets, or maybe he was already in it. That happened and he had to delve in a little bit more to like try to figure out like how to counter that shit.
To investigate them. And that's when I found out this guy killed all of those people. You know, I brought the investigating report so you can look at it if you choose.
Yeah, you showed me outside. Yeah.
So, you know, this was a real life situation that people may hear and think, you know, this is not true. But here's confirmation of how true it was. In 1999, you know, I reported this with the help of Congresswoman Maxine Waters, Janet Reno, because they intervened on my behalf because they saw what was happening. And of course, they had a congressional hearing on me. All of this is public information. A congressional hearing where the DEA and, it reminded me of the time when Clarence Thomas was a hearing was taking place over his harassment or something. Yeah. And all of those people, Democrat and Republicans, was around, you know what I mean, had him in a circle. So this is the conversation they was having concerning me, James Prince. And I'm watching this, on video. I'm not invited, but I'm watching them have this conversation about me, about the congressional hearing. And I'm just like, wow, these people want me pretty bad. But a long story short, they were able to speak up on my behalf, and, which ultimately, there's so many connections to this, because even Al Gore, came in a portrait where they tried to set me up at my church with Al Gore. Al Gore came to visit my church, which when you're running for president, you visit a lot of black churches and stuff like that. And my pastor wanted me to meet Al Gore that day. So when I pull up, I was married at the time, I told my wife, I say, all these people ain't here with the president, because I was watching body language. I saw black glasses kind of look in my direction, and she said, oh, come on, boy, you being leery. Them people not thinking about you or whatever. So I went and heard the sermon, and before the sermon was over, I say, let's go. Normally I hang around and socialize, and of course, Pastor wanted me to meet Al Gore. I decided to leave. And
what's that, y'all?
And shortly after, the Dallas newspaper came out with a story, and all of this you can confirm and look it up. James Prince donated $250,000 to Al Gore at the church to stop an investigation on him. Oh man, just a bunch of BS. Unbelievable. You know what I mean? So I was being set up.
News.
Oh yeah, it's documented.
So they created this fake story to make you look bad.
Mm-hmm.
And they printed it in the news. So it had to be coordinated at the very top.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that like? To know they were conspiring against you like that? First of all, you had to feel like, oh shit, I must have fucking made it.
Well,
I don't really think a lot of people thinking that, Joe Rogan, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like people really like, oh, I made it. Like, they all trying to get me. Like, they trying to conspire to get me. Like, ooh, no. Like, especially, like, when you black, bro, you definitely not going to be thinking of it like that. You're going to be like, nah, like, I'm trying to be out the way. I'm not trying to be in their eye. I'd rather get money. So, it's definitely crazy that they was conspiring against him. It's crazy that how they can put conspiracy charges on folks, but then it can low-key kind of conspire, to put you away. That's crazy.
I didn't quite feel that I had made it. I felt like they wanted to hit me.
Yeah.
Because like
What'd
this guy, one night I left my office and a DPS officer stopped me. He got behind me on the streets when I left out of the office, but he stopped me on the freeway. And it was the first time I was stopped one time to be told to go and stop again. So he stopped me on the freeway and told me to go and pull in the McDonald's parking lot. So I said, oh, okay. So as I exit the freeway and looked over in the McDonald's parking lot, it was dark. And I saw a Cherokee Jeep, green, and a Cutlass. And it was dark. So I'm like, nah, I'm not pulling in that dark. So I kind of told him I'm going to pull in the Shell station where the lights were. So, and I could hear him in the back, pull fucking over on his thing, make a right.
You know how they be, man. When they pulling up on you, if they got one of them things where they can scream at you, they can yell, you can hear them. Boy, they extra as hell. They, you know what I'm saying? Like if they got one of those, or if they got a light on the top, And not just a light, but they got like a light, like they got the lights and they got a light, you know what I mean? A light where they can shine it. It's like that's you know, they kind of, you know, they can kind of be kind of janky whenever they got them lights and they got them walkie-talkies. So, you know, if y'all ever been in one of them situations, man, y'all go ahead and comment, you know, what was the outcome of the situation? You know?
Like, nah, I'm going to go over here. So, I went over there in the light. I had some guys behind me following me because they had been sending me threats. So, I'm not stupid. So, I understood that, you know, I need to cover myself until I make it home. And when I pulled over, you know, the officer got out and he said, "Why you didn't pull over like I told you?" I say, "Sir, I didn't want you to think I was trying to hurt you in that dark, and I didn't want to think you was trying to hurt me. What's the problem?" Where you were swerving. I say, "No." I say, "You got the wrong man. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Wasn't no swerving going on with me." Well,
y'all know how they get, man. You was swerving. Wasn't swerving. You was speeding. Wasn't even speeding. Can you pull up my speed, please? You was what color your shirt? You was wearing a red shirt. Dumbass. You know what I'm saying? They be on your headpiece. It don't even be nothing viable. They just I said pull over. And I said get out the car. You ain't want to get out the car. Oh, I'm finna go crazy. You know, my wife done slept with somebody else, you know what I'm saying? I done got charged up by the captain. Oh, you finna catch us today. You know, they gonna try to sometimes put it down on people. And that's not all policemen, you know. You know, that's just small. That's a percentage, but at the end of the day, it do happen. So whenever it's you in a situation, you like, hold on, like trying to make sure you maneuver correctly. You know, it could go bad even when you're doing the right thing.
"Where are your guns?" Right? How do he even know I have guns? I gave him my gun license. I say, "Well, how you know I have guns? I haven't even given you my license." So I gave him my license. I say, "My hands on the steering wheel.
They could have pulled
my guns are under my seat."
Been on the years.
Well, get out the car. Get out. I said, "Okay, I don't have a problem with that. How much money you have?" I say, "You want to borrow some money or something? Why you ask me about my money?" So he told me to go in the back of the car. So I went back there, and he went and searching my car. You know, he in there. I see him like moving around with things, but he went on the passenger side. So I walk around. I say, "Man, why are you violating my rights searching my car?" And he jumped. "Get back, I'm looking for the gun." I said, I told you where the guns are. Clearly you then passed them up. You got my clips out. So anyway, he came back and I could see him making eye contact with the car, with the people across the street. And eventually one of them drove over. And this was an officer by the name of Chad Scott. He had like black paint under his eyes and an army fatigue type of uniform. And him and the officer, you know, translated some words, and he came back to me and said, "Okay, you're free to go," and gave me a warning ticket, you know, a warning ticket. And it was then when I got home, I realized a bullet or two was missing. So red flags like,
oh shit,
yeah, like went up. I'm like, damn, why would they keep one of my bullets? Why were they trying to pull me in the dark? This was before I knew, you know, Schumacher had killed 8 people. You know what I mean? So, you know, I went home and that really caused me to, you know, want to protect myself and want to document why I wanted to protect myself.
It's so bizarre that they would take bullets.
Yeah, cause see, it could go a few different ways. You know what I'm saying? They could take your bullet, go pop somebody somewhere and say you did it. Take your bullet, pop you, say you did it. Or take your bullet, you know what I'm saying? Wait some time. Pop somebody. Wait a long amount of time. And then say you did it. So I understand feeling the need to protect yourself, but it just seems just like, you know, how could you protect yourself in a situation like that? Like that seemed like somebody could say, oh, that's conspiracy. You really TP, you going real crazy while you saying that. I don't know. That could possibly definitely like be a situation. There's some corrupt people who could possibly be in high places. So, you know, like I definitely look at the situation like, yeah, you definitely gotta protect yourself. You definitely gotta try to stay out the way. Cause once you on their radar, you know, you might be on their radar forever. They might not ever take you out. You might be the one person they trying to get for a long time. You got them shook up there, and they trying to figure out how to do it. You know, but we didn't necessarily get like too much background to the situation, but we got a little bit of background kind of along the timeline of Jay Prince kind of figuring out he was on their watch. It's definitely crazy to figure out they was kind of conspiring to try to get him locked up. You know, he should put out the footage of the situation of what he had or what he possibly has on the situation, because in my opinion, definitely need to let us know, because other than that, we don't necessarily know if everything he's saying is true. It could be just he say, she say. But, you know, now with the takeoff situation, them calling WAC 100, him calling them back, and, you know, them trying to put him in some situation just shows that he's still on their radar. And if he's on their radar, everybody from his camp, his sons, they on their radar too. So y'all let me know how y'all feel about the situation. Y'all go ahead and drop how y'all feel about it in the comment box, man. Go ahead and hit the like button if you haven't already. Go ahead and subscribe. It's TP in the place to be, man. We on the road to 1K subs. I appreciate everybody who subscribed already. You know, we just on the road to 1K. Y'all drop y'all's favorite video in the comments. Y'all, you know, y'all just say pretty much however y'all feel in the comment box, man. Go ahead and subscribe. Until next time.